Chelsea win in style over Chesterfield. They respect the FA Cup. They play a very strong team. There was a goal in it for Chesterfield as well. You saw those celebrations. For some of these lower level players, maybe the biggest moment in their careers realized today. But the FA Cup gave us some great games today, some great ties. I cannot wait to watch the highlights later. Newcastle United dumped out by Cambridge. We've had our first major shock of the third round. There's always one big shock. I haven't even gone through all of the results as of now, but do me a big favor and smash that like and that share button. Chelsea fans, I want to hear from you today as well. I'm seeing in the comments some of you saying we were awful today. You weren't awful. You blew Chesterfield away in the first 20 minutes of the game, and then you played within yourselves for the remainder of it. There was no need to go and kill yourselves in relation to that. Ryan G, marry me. How much money do you have? If you have a lot of money, we could definitely look at getting married, my friend. We can get that done. Barkley getting a bit of stick in here. A lot of people laughing at Newcastle's result today, and rightfully so. Listen, as much as a few Newcastle fans think I'm hating on them, I'm not. I'm threatened by them. And what do we do as people when we feel threatened by something? We want it gone. I want Newcastle out of all the comps. I want them in the championship. I don't want them to come. Listen, my club's sinking we're sinking quickly. I don't want anyone else rising above us. But yeah, they are out today. James here says Juve out of the Vlahovic race, apparently. Do you know what, James? I heard that earlier on today as well. We spoke about it on the two streams in the last few hours. I'll have some more updates on that tomorrow for you. If you want to keep up to date with all of our transfer news, go into our description below now. The group chat on our Telegraph account is available where we'll be posting news in there ahead of time. So if you want to stay ahead of that, make sure you get that done. Burnley out of the tournament as well today. They went 1-0 up and they lost to Huddersfield at home. I'm looking at some of these results here. What was Mansfield Town almost beating Middlesbrough. Coventry knocking out Derby. That's not really too much of a shock there. Really good game earlier on today between Millwall and Crystal Palace. Good result for Leicester today, winning 4-1, which is important. Obviously, the Cambridge news is the biggest one of all. Peterborough United through to the next round. Brentford through, as an example. QPR winning on penalties today. Wigan knocking out, who won it only a few years ago, Blackburn Rovers. And some of the results that have been on tonight. Hull City right now are drawing with Everton. They're drawing with Everton as it stands right now, 2-2. Everton absolutely in the mud. I was going to get that game on right now because I didn't know that was the result. They were losing as well. Sorry, they were losing. Then they went 2-1 up, and they conceded. That game, of course, will go. I don't even know. Does it go into extra time or straight to penalties? I haven't checked. But I'll put it on now. This could be another big shock that we are looking at right now. The analysis, does it go straight to penalties? Anybody know? I really should have had a look at that. In terms of Chelsea today, I just want to say, very, very good performance from a number of their players. I was very impressed with Hall. I thought he was he burned out by the end of the game, and of course he did because he, he essentially, isn't playing at this speed with this intensity. But he had a very, very good game, and we kind of heard in the build-up to the match there was going to be a number of the academy players involved. Not as many as I thought in the starting lineup, but actually, I was quite impressed. I look at Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea have got to respond to what they're seeing from Pep Guardiola. He isn't resting his teams. You've got to get through these games. There are always potential banana skins. You play 3, 4, 5 kids, and you put yourself in a vulnerable position. I mean, they're a National League team, Chesterfield. They're not even a league team. They're a non-league. I believe they're non-league, right? Chesterfield are non-league right now. They're a non-league side. So there was almost no chance of them going out. However, you leave all of your best players on the bench, or not even in the match they scored. You start an extra 4 or 5 kids. You never, ever, 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 ever quite know. So I thought Chelsea were very respectful to the competition tonight in doing it. I thought they were League 2, but they're not even league football. They are a National League side. So to play your strong boys against them, Really important that you go, really important to the tournament that people respect it. The big boys want to win it this year. How are Liverpool going to respond on Arsenal tomorrow? What are their teams going to look like? I've seen too many times the Man United and Arsenal's in the sort of between sort of the year 2000 and about 2010. Man United and Arsenal took it too easy in these early rounds, and on a few occasions came a cropper in this tournament. And I still feel when I look back to that era and think both our clubs probably should have won. And look, Wenger won a lot of FA Cups. We could have won 2 or 3 more because we were the best teams. Props to Chesterfield for keep fighting on to the final whistle. I hope Chesterfield's scorer gets to take the ball home. Yeah, and I think things like that are really important. So one of my friends I went to school with called Paul Hayes, he played for a number of teams, but he was at Scunthorpe for a lot of his career. And he scored against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge back in 03 or 04. It was 04 or 05. Jose was the manager, and he said that one of the best moments for him, they came in, and I think he got to keep the ball, but like Jose came in and actually spent like real quality time with him and a few others, and then spoke to everybody in the dressing room. The Chelsea players came in, and it's a real honor. Now, he was a championship player at the time, so only one level below, but it's still a big honor for these players to have these conversations and to go through this. And, that would be a real nice touch for some of these non-league players, because they're very unlikely to ever be at this level again. They go out, but that goal, the young, like the lad who scored will celebrate it. I don't even remember his name. The lad that drove through as an example and, got his shot away. It was kind of like, he'll probably like it, he'll dine out on that. He'll probably dine out on that for the rest of his life. He'll be able to sit down with his kids and his grandkids and say, I did this against the European champions at Stamford Bridge. And that's what it gives me goosebumps. I'm literally sitting here with goosebumps. Look, I don't know if you can see them. Goosebumps thinking about it. It's this competition just is something different. It's beautiful. It's amazing. And it's why football is so big now. This competition, 150 years old this year. It is amazing. Wow, Swansea are beating Southampton right now. Swansea are beating Southampton. Another shock on the cards. Another shock on the cards here. Wow, we could be seeing a few giant kill. Nothing is going to be as big as Newcastle United, the richest team in the world, being knocked out by basically a boat race team. They're a rowing club, beaten by a team that are famous for rowing. That's it. Oh, is it 2-2? They've equalised. They've equalised. I didn't know they've equalised. There they have. They've literally equalised. Oh, wow. 2-2 in that game now. Wow. That's an interesting one. I've got the the whole Everton game on here. Make sure you're smashing that like and share button for us, people. Let's make sure you get that done. I love this tournament. I know a lot of people are probably sick of hearing me say it, but I do love it. I absolutely adore it. It's the best thing in the world. It's not the best. I prefer the Champions League and the Premier League, but I love it. Like, it hits different with me. I had people going to me, I'm not even watching the games this week. I weren't late. I ain't watching the game. I'm waiting for the score updates. And the score just updated. And I weren't that late. It was only a minute between the goals. There we go. But yeah, no, I love it. And it's been a really good day today watching the games, even just listening to the commentary, the fans. I love watching the match last night, listening to the Swindon fans, giving it to Man City. They were at one point, they're 3-0 down and they were chanting, it's only 3-0, how shit are you? And it's like the banters. I just find the English fan banter noise so great. And it's interesting. I remember sitting down with a guy who works at BT Sport, and he was talking about how he's an Italian guy, and he was saying how one of the reasons he was working in Italian TV for about 20 years before coming here. And he said that one of the reasons why the Premier League started to pull away financially from its European counterparts was the unique noise that the English and the British crowds make. He said it isn't just the raucous, aggressive atmosphere sometimes, it's the banter and the to and the fro from the fans. He was saying that it isn't like that with the same level of intensity across all levels he said in Italy and most European countries. Now, I'm only going by his word for this. He's a television exec. He knows what he's talking about. And it's one of the reasons why I'm really strong on fans walking out of clubs and not being in the stadiums when they want to protest, because the TV companies rely on it massively. And this FA Cup weekend has really kind of brought that alive. The commentator in the Chelsea game called the Maguire family Maguire is a family of athletes. When his brother was coming on, I'm sorry, but Harry is not an athlete. He's an electronic, a fridge to be specific. Yeah, I was when he came on, I was like, I wonder if the Chelsea crowd realised that's Harry Maguire's brother. I was like, he's probably going to get pelters. Is it Lawrence's name? Yeah, but yeah, I wouldn't necessarily refer to Harry as an athlete. I mean, in fairness, Lawrence Maguire looked better than Harry Maguire today, if I'm being absolutely blunt. But there we go. Sean here says, Everton, you big frauds. They are big frauds today. Like, legitimately, they are big frauds today. They are 110% proper frauds. They are proper frauds today. You can't get away from that. They just are. They're proper frauds. And this could be, I mean, what level are Hull City at now? I really should know these things, but I don't. I'm assuming championship. The last time I saw, they were championship. Where are they? Yeah, but they've only just come back up. They were League One last year, so they're newly promoted. There's no excuse. There is no excuse. You know, there is no excuse, people. Lukaku was getting some boos from Chelsea fans. Was he? Or do you think that was Chesterfield fans bantering? I don't know. I was paying attention, but not that deeply to it. Once you score those 3 quick goals, and it's kind of weird. A few of you are saying you're going to review the game. Not really. Look, your goals were good. They were very good finishes. But we have to be mindful of the level here. You know, it's a win. You celebrate the win always, but there's a lot to, you know, you can't ever read too much into it when you're banging in goals. You know, Man United beat a lower level team like 6-7-0. Do you remember a few Januaries ago? Maguire and Phil Jones scored in the game, so we have to be mindful. Trippier is heading to the championship. It's funny because, like, I see a lot of Newcastle fans getting triggered by the way others are talking about them at the minute in terms of wanting them to go down and everything else. And I feel like saying to them, like, what are you expecting here from football fans? I don't quite know what they expect or want to see, but you're certainly getting bantered when you are the richest team in the world. And I know you haven't had enough time yet to bring that to life, but you're still going to get bantered. You're still getting bantered. It's the way it is. It's the way it is, people. It's just, that's the way the cookie crumbles. It really is. Make sure that like button's being smashed, people. Chelsea drew the second half to a non-league team. Yeah, they did. But there we go. I'm really intrigued for tomorrow's game. I'm really intrigued for Liverpool's match. Liverpool-Shrewsbury. I'm really intrigued by that because I want to know. I can't wait to, because there's so many reasons I'm intrigued by it. I think there's a lot of eyes on the game from Arsenal fans, especially Chelsea fans who felt like they played a game and drew a game when they shouldn't have done. To who is back, who from Thursday to Sunday is available, 3 or 4 days. There's going to be a lot of eyes on it, a lot of people focusing on it. As an example, who's going to start as an example? You know, I'm looking at who scored here. Everton have just scored and gone 3-2 up in the game. I think it's Townsend that scored there. You know, it could be Williams. I mean, I've seen this as a potential starting lineup of Bradley, Gomez, the lad that started in the I can't pronounce his name, Kamuto, Tsimikas, Milner, Morton, Jones, Gordon, Chamberlain, Williams. I'm seeing that. Like Alisson, Firmino, Joel Matip are doubtful. I'm really intrigued to see who's actually going to be in this team for Liverpool, the reaction everybody's going to have. If that team they're looking at there plays, if it is that team where your best outfield player is James Milner, you could probably argue Chamberlain. Chamberlain's playing as a central striker. If that's the team, there could be a huge shock on the cards there. And when I say a huge shock, I'm just talking name versus name. It isn't the best Liverpool team versus Shrewsbury, but it is Liverpool versus Shrewsbury. So I'm very intrigued to see what happens in that game, who's on the bench as well, and everything else. So, yeah, very, very intriguing to watch that game tomorrow. And then Nottingham Forest, Arsenal. Will Arsenal go big? Will Arsenal play their strongest team? One of the reasons why Arsenal fans were so frustrated at having their game postponed midweek, because they wanted to, if they did well in that game, maybe they win a 2-0 at the Emirates. Maybe they rotate a little bit for the game against Forest, knowing that, saving themselves for that big game at Anfield to qualify for a final. Now it's a case of, do you go full squad for the game against Nottingham Forest and then full squad again Wednesday? Can you turn it round in that? I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm intrigued to see the team Arsenal battles. The two very big games there. It's bad when Joel Linton is bodying League One defenders off the ball. Up the U's. Go on, my friend. I hope you're a Cambridge United fan there. And I'm not even, again, a few people saying, why are you hating on Newcastle? I'm not. I'm loving the FA Cup. The only time I don't like an upset is when it's my team. Why would I like an upset when it's my team? I don't want my team to lose. But I did say to everybody, I know they've had gaps in between, but I did say after Newcastle's heroic performance against Man United, I did say they would lose their next match. I'm going to do this next season. I'm going to run the stats on it. Every time a team below 10th in the league outperforms, forget the result, but outperforms one of the top 6 sides, I'm going to hazard a guess that less than 20% of them win their following game. I'm going to hazard that guess. So something I feel like I see a lot, but I've never seen any research on it. So next season, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to create a body of work on it, and we're going to see. Sometimes, and the reason I don't know what the conclusion's going to be, but it's almost a case of, is it actually worth putting that level of performance in if you only go on to lose the next game anyway? What will be really interesting will be, how many of those games where they outperform the top 6 side, do they actually win? It's almost a case of, I'm not saying roll over and let the big boys beat you, but maybe that's the best thing for you to do. I just want to have a look at it because it intrigues me so much. Oh, how I wish Liverpool play a strong team tomorrow. Seeing Arsenal fan base whining and crying and trying to do a fouled protest is always funny. Let's have a little look here. That's bad mind, Terry Fleurs. I don't know what you mean by that's a bad mind. I'm just trying to understand just my whole life. I feel like I've seen it regularly, but I don't know if that's just anecdotal. I see it after my team gets beat. But I just sort of sometimes feel like teams I don't know whether sometimes they put so much energy in on a Saturday, they then play another game on the Wednesday and they're tired because of the level of work they put in. Or maybe there's also a level of, well, we just outplayed Liverpool. This team's not as good as Liverpool, and they go in maybe slightly complacently. I don't know what the answer is. I just want to review it and see. There might be none. It might be a case of 80% win their next games, and my thought is wrong. But I just want to check it out. That's all. I just want to check it out. We have a super chat here that says, are you going to do a match reactions for AFCON? It isn't something that I'm overtly planning on doing. It depends on when the games are... When the games are, who's playing and what they clash with in terms of the top 6, do they clash with the top 6, if that makes sense? So that's what I need to be kind of mindful of. I haven't even looked myself at the fixture list because it isn't a tournament. It's a tournament where I watch some games, but the games are already out. So as you see already, like Cameroon play tomorrow at 4. I'll be covering the FA Cup as an example. Senegal play Monday at 1:00. Probably not, because I'm prepping for the evening show. So it's a little bit hard for me to do. I think when we get to the latter rounds of the competition, we might cover it. But I need to be mindful. I need to bring people on that are watching it, that know the teams inside out. I don't want to be one of these charlatans that just covers it because it's popular to cover. But I don't really know the teams and understand things and get stuff wrong. I see a few people acting like that. And I'm just not one of them guys. I'm not going to disrespect the big tournament, which is the African Cup of Nations, by pretending I know a lot about it, and just on that, a lot of people say, why don't you watch more football? I watch the Premier League, I watch the Champions League, but I cover the top 6 intensively. So because I cover the top 6 intensively, it's very, with my life, it's very hard for me then to commit myself to another league personally. Like I watch 90 minutes of each of the top 6 sides over a weekend, and then spend on average an hour and a half to 3 hours after every game doing a review, clips, writings, tweets, posts, working with my partners to get our video content integrated across the 200 odd websites around the world that we're now integrated in. That's where the majority of the Football Terrace views comes from now. A lot of people don't know this. A lot of it's not even YouTube. So it's hard for me to commit to another league. It's hard for me to commit to the only other two sports I can commit to are MMA and boxing generally because they're on so late at night that they don't clash with football. So it's as simple as that for me. But yeah, we'll try and do some as and when it fits into our schedule, my friend. There we go. There we go. Someone here said this man covered the Nations League. I don't know if we did. We covered the Euros. We cover World Cups. I don't think we did cover the National League. I've barely done England games unless it's at a big tournament. But there we go. And I'll cover England because they're the team I support. So yeah, I'm not going to be made to feel guilty about that. I think it's a fairly normal thing to do. Is what I'd say there. Thoughts on Elise? Scored 2 goals and assisted 2. Listen, he looks so talented. Raw, but talented. Skill. Techers for days. It made me a bit sad, though, because I'm looking at players like him and Smith Rowe, Cole Palmer last night. And it reminds me of how excited I was when Martial joined Man United. How excited I was when Mason Greenwood first broke through. How excited I was when Rashford started playing. And there was all this hope. It made me upset with the lack of direction, coaching, consistency at my football club that damaged these players. Because I see these lads are so talented and they've got so much potential in them. And there always is. So, yeah, look, for him, stay at Palace a few more years, work hard. Don't think that you've made it ever. Keep working like any moment you could be dropped or you could be gone or you're not going to get a contract renewal. Keep fighting hard and, who knows where he'll end up. But talent-wise, ability-wise, very, very special indeed. Very, very special indeed. Terry will be covering the Conference League next season, analysing Ronaldo's hat-trick against a maths teacher. I love that. That's funny. If you think Ronaldo's going to be here if we get relegated, you're absolutely on one, my friend. You're absolutely on one if you think that in any way. Oh, Southampton are now winning 3-2. They are on their way. They are on their way. They are on their way. They're on their way. We kind of knew that was going to happen, though, didn't we? Kind of knew. But there we go. There we go, people. There we go. Let's have a look at a few more comments that are coming through here. Does Shane Long get the goal? I hadn't seen that yet. There we go. So a lot of people. I did read about Elise that he can basically pick about 3 or 4 different countries to play for. I believe. Like he's born in England, but he's so far been representing France at under 18s level is what I read. Yeah, I can see that. Like, I'm just one of these ones. Like he's just got to play for the country that he feels the best and biggest connection to. I read here, Elise was born in England to a Nigerian father and French Algerian mother, and is eligible to play for France, Algeria, England, and Nigeria internationally. Listen, right now, this is the way it's going to work. If he can get into that French squad, and I think, how old is he now? He's 20. This is where he's got to weigh his mind up. If he cannot get into that French squad because of their abundance of talent, he may look at England. But having said that, does he get into the England team? England have got abundance of talent. He may look at Algeria and Nigeria. It depends the level this kid gets to. That is going to dictate the nation that he plays for, in my opinion. It depends on who gives him that call up. If France are not even looking to give him a call up, and England are not looking to give him a call up, but Nigeria does and Algeria does, then he may do that. But what you may find in his heart of hearts is he wants to play for the country that he feels the greatest connection to. Maybe France is that team. And, none of us, there isn't a single person, not even his mother and father, that can judge him on that. That's going to be him as an individual, as a man, where he feels. I look at it like this. I've got friends of mine that I used to part of my kickboxing group that were born in England but didn't want to compete for Team GB. One used to compete for Ireland. The other one used to compete for his father's country, which was France. And that was their choice. And I remember having conversation with them at the time, deep conversations, and they were like, "Oh, do you think it makes me not English anymore?" Well, no, for me, like I see you as sort of English in that way, mannerisms, like you behave like me, you like the things I like, we do the same things. But where the country you represent is, it's not even about what you are or are not. It's what you feel connected to and who you want to represent and sort of do proud in that regard. And you know, it's kind of a weird question because like you're competing for Ireland, but you want to know whether I think you're English. I'm like, I just think you're Jason. That's what it was. Like, it didn't bother me. I didn't feel offended by it because he decided to play for, you know what I mean? My son, his mother's Irish and I'm English. If he grows up and is good enough to compete for his country at any sport and says, I feel more of an affinity with Ireland, then cool. If he says I feel more of an affinity with England, great. Like, there'll be no judgment, you know? So I think that also makes me a little more understanding that my son, if he was good enough, could be faced with that exact same situation. Chelsea helped get the 5-1. Sorry, Chelsea helped get the 5-1. We dropped off, want the fourth round. Yeah, fourth round draws coming tomorrow. We're kind of bringing that to you live as well in between the games. So very much looking forward to that. Remember, Monday night watch along and match reaction show, Aston Villa versus Man United. Lies will be in the studio. I will be there. Prime will be there. Just shorting out a few more people. Full hole coming forward there. What we can score. But there we go. Listen, everyone that has tuned in to us today, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. My Wi-Fi has just gone mad. You get a little signal now on StreamYard, like if the Wi-Fi kind of cracks or goes down, and it's like dropped out bad there. I don't even know why. I'm going to wait for it to come back for a second. Sometimes it's if like there's too much stuff being used at the same time, it just drops, connection goes. Maybe that will load back in a few seconds time and look a little bit. Is it gone all robotic and funny? Yeah, just a signal dropped off. It says connection unstable. It might come back in a few seconds. I don't know. I'm waiting for it to. I've shut everything else down, hoping that it will come back. It's coming back now. There we go. Where I live is very rural, so the internet speed here is slow. So as soon as you have too many things loading at the same time, it's like gone. It's finished. It's over. It doesn't want to work. But listen, everybody that has tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. Bye-bye.